Hello guys, welcome to my channel Lucid Fanfic, and if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest videos. So be sure to stick around until the end, and let's get started. Izuku rushed towards All Might's meeting spot because today was his first day of training. All Might, I'm ready. Great. Skinny Mike gave Izuku a thumbs up. After these months are over, you will be ready. But before that, Skinny Mike puffed up his chest. We need to muscleize that weak twig body of yours. Why? Izuku's soul seemed to leave his body before All Might, now in buff form, grabbed it and stuffed it back into Izuku's mouth with his signature All Might smile. Because if your body isn't properly trained, controlling this quirk could be fatal. I can die from this. No, your body will struggle to maintain its power, and your limbs could be blown off if we don't train. All Might patted Izuku's back. You have potential, so follow this routine strictly. Never skip a day, nor miss a meal, and ensure you get enough sleep. All Might handed a paper to Izuku. What, I have zero time for my girlfriend or friends. Oh gosh, this is going to be tough. I hope it's only for a few months. I'll text and talk to Sato and during my breaks, so she doesn't have to feel alone. Mikan as well. Throughout the months, Izuku followed the routine. His body ached, and he was constantly tired from the intense training. Sato, and Mikan soon noticed Izuku's absence. In the third month of training, Izuku fell to the floor, his body aching and tired, dropping a broken microwave in the process. Cleaning a beach for a few months is intense, but I have to do whatever it takes, he thought as he picked up the microwave and continued. All Might sensed that something was off. You aren't following the routine, young Midoriya? YT was only one day. One day could be 12 years in cat years. What, that doesn't make sense. Don't question me, young man. Why? All Might stood on a Segway and sighed. At this rate, I'll make it. I am almost there. Izuku's body wobbled, his knees about to give out at any moment, but he remained persistent. This young man, such unwavering determination. All Might thought as he moved alongside Izuku on the Segway. Somewhere from the bushes. Izuku, what are you training for? Why are you pushing yourself so hard? Is something wrong? You can tell me I am your girlfriend, Sato wondered, watching her boyfriend from a distance. Izuku is training for a quirk, replied, glaring at her phone. My Izuku is so heroic. My diary says he refused to give up. Why did you follow me? Sato glared at with a stern expression. I will not hesitate to confront you. Do that, and your darling will be heartbroken. Izuku doesn't love you. You're just seducing him. Izuku is supposed to be my man, not yours. It isn't his fault, he's just confused. Sato rolled her eyes and continued to watch Izuku and the skinny guy from a distance. My sugar love never told about this man. Worriedly flipped open her phone, staring deeply at the screen. Izuku would never keep secrets from me, never. Oh, you don't know what I am capable of. I know Izuku more than he knows himself because he needs me. We're meant to be. Sato snickered. First lover? I'm dating Izuku first. I asked him out before you. He's mine and mine alone. If anybody tries to steal him from me, I'll make sure they regret it. Tilted her head, her eyes filled with murderous intent. Right. Testing me. Sato clenched her fist. Don't. You should be grateful. I love my darling, and making him sad is the last thing I want. The two watched from afar as Izuku's spirit grew brighter and more determined after All Might's speech about the dangers of not being physically prepared for his quirk. The next day, on Aldera Junior High's rooftop, Izuku's body lay on the floor, aching with exquisite pain. Excuse me, Midoriya. Mikan shyly peeked through the door. Can I come in? Izuku gazed up as he sat upright. Mikan, you look injured and seem uncomfortable. Yeah, Izuku said, sweating and unsure of what to say. This was the first time Mikan had hung out with Izuku. She walked towards him, took a closer look, and her eyes lit up. You're sore. Mikan crouched down. You've worked your body to its fullest, and I can tell because you're lying on your back. Mikan analyzed Izuku before placing her palm on his chest. Wow. How did you know? Izuku wondered. Mikan blushed. I'm not a nurse or doctor, but I am very knowledgeable in treating injuries. Mikan blushed as she nodded. Amazing. Izuku smiled. I can help you, just hold still. Don't move too much. Okay. Izuku nodded as Mikan placed her hands on his chest. A soft light emitted from her hands and spread throughout Izuku's body, causing a tingling sensation. Whoa. Izuku got up, jumped a few times. Mikan, your quirk is amazing. It really isn't. It's not flashy or cool like other kids' quirks. Haha, not even close. It's like my soreness never happened at all. Izuku sat down and pulled out his quirk analysis notebook. Flashy or not, it doesn't matter. Your quirk can help people. Your quirk is incredible. I truly mean that. Hehe. UTH think so. Mikan hid her face behind her hands. Well, my quirk can heal people, but the price is my energy, physical energy. Physical energy, wait, can you die from it? No, I mean physical energy. That's why I carry energy bars or small energy drinks. Mikan strenuously smiled. I won't die if I overuse my quirk, but I'll get tired when my body enters a sleepy state. But I've never used my quirk to such an extent before. I don't really know what will happen if I do overuse it. I see. That's good. Izuku sighed in relief. I wouldn't want you to push yourself too hard for someone like me. Izuku flipped through a few pages before landing on an empty one. But may I ask, if you were to touch a rotten apple, could you restore it to its healthiest form? Izuku tapped his pencil on the side of his head. I don't know, I haven't tried. Mikan said in dismay. Sorry. Don't be disappointed, Mikan. I really like your quirk. There's so much you can do with it. You think so? Mikan's eyes sparkled as she looked delighted. Suddenly, two girls burst through the door, startling Mikan in the process. Crash. Thud. I've missed you so much, really, really much. Izuku's girlfriend embraced him tightly, nuzzling her cheek against his. Izuku stopped abruptly, her gaze drawn to Mikan, who sat beside Izuku, her intense interest in him difficult to conceal. Another woman? Izuku responded to the embrace from Sato, and with a gentle motion of his hand, he introduced Mikan. That's my friend, Mikan, he said, pointing toward her. Shyly, Mikan averted her gaze, her face flushed with a hint of embarrassment. Hello, Mikan stammered, offering a wave. I'm Mikan Tsumaki, you're his girlfriend, right? It's nice to meet you. I hope you don't mind me hanging around. Sato blushed, her excitement evident. Yes, that's me, hee. She giggled with enthusiasm. Turned her head away, suppressing a snicker at Sato's reaction. Her smile radiated warmth, a facade that Midoriya seemed not to notice. How did you meet Izuku, Mikan? Nervously, Mikan recalled the event where she first met Izuku. Oh, I was being picked on, she began, her gaze downcast. A group of boys pulled my hair, hit me, hurt me, but Midori showed up. I am truly grateful. Mikan's pleased smile revealed her transformation since her initial encounter with Izuku. My darling is getting himself into trouble. He can't interact with other women, thought, her anger and jealousy simmering beneath the surface. A sinister grin spread across her lips. Getting rid of these two will be a challenge, but I'd do anything to be with my man. The door slammed open once more, and an eerie atmosphere descended upon the rooftop. Izuku felt a wave of unease wash over him, unable to find words to describe the sudden tension in the air. Sato and instantly adopted defensive stances, sensing the impending danger. Hey, Ichiwai. Ha. A girl's manic laughter echoed across the rooftop. Sister, they're looking at you funny. Say the call, sister, another girl urged with a stern tone. Who are you? Izuku tilted his head in confusion. What? The shorter girl with black hair shot Izuku a lethal glare. The girl with strawberry blonde ponytails, a revealing outfit, and an air of confidence, strutted forward with sass. She drew attention with her attire, especially among the boys. Mikan and Izuku exchanged bewildered glances, trying to make sense of the situation. Hey guys. I am running the party. Well, too bad, because Junko Inamisha has entered the chat. The girl, Junko, announced with a touch of insanity. Please excuse me for the intrusion, she added, donning a pair of glasses and adopting a more refined tone. We're growing teenagers. We thrive for love. But those who cannot control their emotions, their love, can hurt those around them. Who are you? Sato glared at her. What do you want? Added, her flip phone in hand. What's happening? Mikan whispered, utterly perplexed. I don't know, I've never seen these two before, Izuku said. The tension in the air feels odd. Honestly, coming up here with you lowlifes is really, really saddening, Junko lamented bitterly, her mood shifting dramatically. She stood before Izuku, her chest inches from his face, using her height advantage to her advantage. Her suggestive movements caught his attention, but he forced himself to maintain eye contact. So I swayed my assets, and you don't even look at them? Not even a glance. Are you that loyal, or are you gay? Junko taunted, her disgust and irritation apparent. Hey, Sato shouted as she took a step forward, but Makuro, the other girl, blocked her path. No, Izuku interjected, blushing. I prefer my girlfriend's assets. He admitted, embarrassed. Yuno raised an eyebrow, taken aback by his response. Huh. OOH. Mikan gasped. Oh wait, darling. We can't go there yet, Sato, blushing intensely, replied. I got what I wanted, Junko sighed. I'll be back, cutie. I'll make you my boyfriend. Junko always gets what she wants. Makuro followed Junko as they left. Sato hugged Izuku tightly, showering him with kisses. Thank you, darling, thank you, darling, thank you, darling, thank you, darling. She smothered him with affectionate smooches. What's the deal with her? Izuku wondered as his girlfriend expressed her love in a rather overwhelming manner. I think I shouldn't worry about this, but something tells me she's going to be more demanding. Yuno glared at Sato with a mixture of disgust and jealousy in her eyes. He's mine, he. Don't touch him like that. Don't kiss him like that. Mine. Ugh, my man. Mikan gazed at the partially opened door, her thoughts filled with uncertainty. Do you think she will be coming back? She asked. Makuro, she's skilled in combat. Yuno replied, her anxiety palpable. Her stance resembles that of a U.S. soldier, and her strength and speed are far from ordinary. Yes, she was fast. I couldn't even get near Izuku to help him, Mikan admitted nervously. I'm sorry I was useless again. Don't worry about it. Izuku reassured her with a smile. What matters is that it ended well, right? Izuki. Yuno giggled. You don't seem bothered by her? She hinted. Yeah. I'm sure she knows that I won't leave, Izuku said as he held Sato close. You. Sato melted into his embrace, while Yuno watched, seething with envy. I don't know if I can keep lying like this. Izuku sat in class, one hand hidden beneath his desk, squeezing a wrist exerciser to strengthen his grip. Izuku continued his workout, as All Might had instructed him. However, spending time with Sato, Mikan, and Yuno was becoming increasingly rare. Every time he missed a day with them, he would make excuses, saying, Sorry, I'm busy right now, Maybe later. I promise. Don't give up. I'll make it up to her no matter what. If only I could tell you. Izuku's thoughts weighed heavily on him as he concentrated harder on his exercises. I even have to train somewhere else besides the rooftop sometimes. As he packed his things, Izuku noticed a classmate of his, a girl with long black hair tied into a ponytail. Her silky black hair swayed gently as she moved. Izuku quickly noticed the eye patch and bandages on the girl. She was someone who went unnoticed by everyone, but something about her caught his attention. Those bruises. Izuku's heart sank as he observed the girl. As the other students left the classroom, she remained behind, and an urge overcame him. This isn't your business, Izuku. Just leave her alone, he thought, trying to convince himself to ignore her. I don't have the heart to, even if it means getting involved in someone else's life, someone's business. Are you okay? Izuku reached out and gently held the girl's wrist. She swiftly turned around and pinned Izuku against the wall by his shirt. What do you want? She asked, her tone direct and stern. Nothing. Izuku stammered. No, Midoriya. That's a lie, and you know it, he thought to himself. Izuku maintained his grip on the girl's wrist as she kept him pinned to the wall. I mean, you're hurt, and I can see it, so don't deny it, he said through gritted teeth. Is someone hurting you? Those bruises. Mind your business, she retorted, beginning to walk away. Don't meddle in what's not your life. I know. I can help. Help me? What help? Every word that came out of Izuku's mouth seemed to fuel her anger. Do you want to die? She glared at Izuku menacingly before walking away. That's what I get, Izuku muttered to himself, feeling conflicted about his attempt to help. As she walked away, Izuku noticed something fall, a small piece of paper floating to the floor. 631 Street. This is an address to a location. Izuku put the paper in his pocket, walking to his next class. Izuku scratched the back of his head, thinking, I have no quirk, lacking muscle and strength. I don't think I can fight at all. Midoriya, why are you so noisy about being a hero? Leave it to the pros, but Midoriya leaned back slightly as he angrily clenched the straps of his backpack. I don't think the pros will handle it. I guess Midoriya might will save the day. Midoriya might I'm going to get copyrighted by All Might. Ugh, the hero name can wait. Now what do I say to my girlfriend? I don't know how she hasn't broken up with me yet after the 5th time I've missed our dates. After school, somewhere. Izuku looked at the note. This should be it. I told Mom that I'll be back before the public library closes. Sorry, Mama, for lying. Izuku stopped, finding himself near a gate. A broken gate that passed through an old park where Izuku and Bakugo played when they were children. As Midoriya walked through the slashed gate, he didn't take much notice. As he passed a log bridge that remained to this day, he thought, trees live long, huh? Izuku walked carefully as he crossed. Midoriya followed the instructions on the paper. Walk toward the slashed gate, past the log. There should be a tree with a cat mark. Walk left. From there, and that's where we meet. Be careful. Izuku found the tree with a poorly drawn cat, took a left. Careful of what? Izuku was puzzled and continued to walk, making sure to be extra careful about his surroundings. There, he found a spot free of plants. All the trees gathered in a circle. Izuku stopped. Throughout the whole walk, he felt off, like something about this note conveyed more than it actually did. As he stood in the center of the area, he looked around. You're not Maki. A blade lifted Izuku's chin, causing him to drop the piece of paper. What did you do to Maki? How did that paper get into your hands, kid? Izuku was frozen with fear. His body froze, unable to move, and the words wouldn't come out of his mouth. Oh God, there's a whole sword up on my chin. A sword like that woman lady has. Death is upon you, yet you remain silent? She hissed, raising the sharp blade higher. Speak. Now. Ishidr dropped this paper. She's hurt and bruised, and I want to help her. Izuku yelled as the woman, in a swift and fast motion, covered his mouth. All right. I get it, kid. You are obviously not a friend. Maki doesn't have friends. Despite her age, she should have. You're sticking your nose into the wrong business. You know that. I don't care. Izuku glared at her. She's hurt. And it's not right for a girl like her to be hurt like that. The woman smirked, her tone becoming serious and stern. You know nothing about that girl, her personality, her favorite food. Your name means nothing if you don't know what's within the person who wields the name. She glared at Izuku. Maki Heruka. She's part of the Haruki clan. Wait. Izuku spat. Haruki. The old family of assassins. And you just met another. You are one lucky kid. If it wasn't me, I would have ended your life and disposed of your body in an instant. She extended her hand for Izuku to shake. I am Opia. I am one of Maki's trainers. I am not blood related to the family. Izuku accepted her handshake. Izuku Midoriya. I want to help Maki, he said, sweating. I will quirkless. Opia sighed. How interfering with the clan means death, kid. I just realized that. Izuku muttered, arms crossed and eyes closed. I am not backing out because I am quirkless. The woman slapped Izuku's back. You got guts, kid, more than my husband. I'll help you. But just know the family plays no games. What you're getting yourself into means the people around you will be targeted if our plan plays out perfectly. We can do this in one day. Say, meet here after school tomorrow. Same spot. I'll tell you my plan. Izuku and the woman, Opia, sat down. She stuck her sword into the ground. Sit down, kid. We gotta make a plan. Right, I just hope the worst isn't to come. That young lady, Maki. I have to thank you, kid. I hope she talks to you after this. She really isn't all that mean under her mask. The two began to discuss their plan. Izuku walks out of the forest. The night sky began to slightly brighten as Izuku made his way through the playground. Darling, a girl shouted. There she swung on the swings. Why haven't you responded to my 153 messages? Sato. Izuku jumped. What? Bring you my low love. He was nearly panicking. Izuku Midoriya. Sato hopped off the swing and walked toward him, wrapping her arm around his shoulder. You said no. You promised to spend time with your loving girlfriend. It's been 3 months and 5 weeks since then, right? Izuku's lips sunk into his mouth. Sato smiled. Well, how did you find me? I never told you. So you're hiding from me? Sato glared at Izuku. Am I not filling your heart, or is it that Junko girl? You better not have second thoughts about me. No. I say what I mean, what I said. Izuku grabbed Sato's shoulders, seeing her face burn red. She looked away. Hee, darling, you're confusing me. You aren't cheating on me with another girl. Because I would be broken. I wouldn't want my happy sugar life with you to ever be broken. You've been really distant. Where have you been, and what were you doing without me? I study. And no, I came here to walk. It's a bad habit. I hope you can fix it. Izuku kissed Sato on the cheek, making sure to press hard during the kiss. Sato's hand enveloped Izuku's hand as they walked. Thank you, darling. By the way, I also used to come here. I was looking everywhere. But when I couldn't find you, I felt sad. I thought you ghosted your loving girlfriend. Don't hide anything from me. The last part sounded a bit too bold, Izuku thought. After dropping off Sato, Izuku headed home. Izuku got an earful, a massive one. He realized what had happened. She seemed overly touched than usual. Her kisses were very hard. I don't know why, but she bit my neck. Izuku lay down as his thoughts began to make him fall asleep. I don't know why, but I feel like she didn't by what I said. The next day at the meetup spot. Kid, you better kiss your mama goodbye. Because if all things don't end well, they can easily find your family. But Izuku got up, clenching his fist. We won't mess up. No matter what. We'll make it work. Right? Opia nodded. She stood up, towering over Izuku. Did you notice anything different with Maki today? More bruises. Izuku said, biting his thumb with a taste of bitterness left in his mouth. I don't get how the teachers don't say a thing. It's clearly obvious what's happening to her. His fist and eyes had a hint of anger within them. Sparks of determination and fury filled Izuku's emerald eyes. They are forced to stay quiet. It's what the family agreed with the school. This clan means business. Opia had a wide grin on her face. The wind blew the woman's brown hair. Her dark eyes shined within the night. And Izuku, confident, knowing he's lacking a quirk, was still determined and eager to help his classmate. He wasn't going to back down knowing the consequences if this plan all fell apart. Let's go, kid. Right. A wide, courageous smile emerged from Izuku. A 40-minute drive towards the family clan. Heruka Mansionland. As Izuku and Opia stepped out of the car, they found themselves standing in front of the imposing gates of Heruka Mansion. So, this is it, Izuku remarked, eyeing the gate, a towering and impenetrable wall. Opia let out a sigh. It's better this way, believe it or not. There are no guards at the front entrance. Going through the front isn't an option. These walls have hidden doors we can use to get inside. Once I bring you in, I'll be marked as a traitor. It might sound foolish, but we've discussed the plan, right? Yes, but the entire mansion will be after us. Izuku exclaimed, spreading his arms wide. Our survival. Survival doesn't matter, Midoriya, Opia said firmly. Leave that to me. I believe you can do it. An outsider like you can rewrite the history of this mansion. Rewrite history? Izuku gulped and followed Opia. Right. If I want to achieve my dream, I have to face danger and save Maki. I like your attitude. You remind me of my late mother's husband. Your mother's husband? Izuku said in surprise. As they entered the hidden door within the gate, they had to crawl through the narrow space, just wide enough for a person. Opia went first, and Izuku followed closely. Focus on the task at hand. Midoriya, he reminded himself as they crawled through. You're similar to him. He was an outsider like you, and he had an unwavering determination to help someone. The only difference is, he had a quirk. Ouch, Izuku said, biting his lip and looking hurt. Opia helped Midoriya through the entrance. Sorry, Opia apologized with a chuckle. Your feelings won't matter if you're dead, she said, walking forward with Izuku by her side. Do you really think I can do this? Izuku asked, rubbing his shoulders nervously. I believe in you. That's all you need, right? Opia said as she surveyed their surroundings. The path they walked on was covered in dark green grass, and the trees seemed to grow colder with every step. After the forest, there's going to be a checkpoint, a building that guards the main area we're heading to, which is the mansion. But before that, we'll need to deal with some guards from the family inside a building that surrounds the mansion along with a gate. Exactly. It should be straightforward. Just don't mess it up, or we're both dead, Opia warned. Knowing the dangers, Izuku rushed alongside Opia as they continued through the wooded forest path. The cold, fluttering wind passed by Izuku. Let's see what my progress is, even if I am only in my 3rd month. Saving Maki is more important than training. I will have to make up for the missing hours during my rest days, he thought. Opia pulled Moody to the side, covering his mouth. Just stay quiet. Something's odd. she whispered. Izuku's eyes locked onto Opia. What's wrong? He asked. Opia's eyes frowned, and she appeared concerned. Something isn't right. Midoriya, they know we're here. Izuku panicked as she held him close, feeling something soft press on the back of his head. They hid behind a tree as Opia tuned in to what the Heruka clan guards were saying. Traitors in the mansion. Opia and a green-haired kid. Report received. On it, the guard spoke. Opia's eyes glared down at Izuku. He thought to himself, this is to be expected, but I think Opia is worried. Opia released Izuku as the guards left. Opia, Izuku began. Ugh, those assholes Midoriya, they spotted us too soon, way too soon, Opia said as she held Izuku close. Let's go, kid. I am relying on you to save Maki from her mother. I can see it. Your success. Izuku reflected on Opia trusting him with this task and thought, Opia is trusting me with this. Don't let her down. Izuku, both your lives are on the line. All she has to do is take me to Maki's mother. Opia's eyes glowed from Izuku's imagination as she pulled him down. Bullets whizzed by, and Izuku realized, guns? He gasped as Opia put his head down and fired. Kid, did it hit you? Opia shouted, her tone filled with alarm and concern. I am fine, Izuku replied, though he was terrified. Guns. Out of everything. How does this family have those? Izuku brushed his question aside and said, thanks, Opia. I would have been. Don't even imagine it. Kid, Opia cut in, pulling Izuku up to his feet. It's merely one guard, but more are coming. They know where we are, and we need to rush. Things are changing. Our plan was supposed to involve not getting caught and sneaking our way in, she added, biting her lip as her eyes analyzed their surroundings. We're going to sneak through a tunnel. This tunnel leads to Mother's main hallway. Think of it like a queen whose seat is next to her king. This is the center of everything, and this will definitely work. Opia led Izuku towards the supposed tunnel. The guards moved swiftly, their movements reminiscent of Opia's, focusing on speed and agility. Opia saved Izuku countless times, pulling him in when bullets flew, protecting him. Izuku was surprised and scared to his core. He knew he shouldn't get involved, but the hero within him, the hero he aspired to be, told him to throw his life away and risk it. He was also risking Opia's life, and he couldn't help but think about the consequences, including his mother, Inko, grieving for him. They made it to a beautiful garden of red roses. Opia smiled and pushed Izuku into the tunnel, which was large enough for a whole person to walk in. Izuku turned back as he said, Opia, Kumka. Opia glared at him with squinted eyes, a sullen look on her lips. Opia! Izuku exclaimed, and the words escaped him. Kid, remember what I said. I can't have anybody follow you, so you're on your own. I'll hold them off, and I'll meet you there. Opia! Izuku's throat throbbed in pain as the swelling of tears began to form. I'm sorry for being quirkless, please I beg you. Don't die for my selfishness. Huh? Opia shook her head. So being heroic, kind, and foolish is selfish? Your ideology is trash, kid. Work on it. She shut the door as Izuku wasted no time in rescuing Maki. He remembered Opia's words. When the sun goes down, that's when Maki will be comforted by her mother. Izuku rushed full speed towards the location of Mother's queen seat. Maki, I am going to save you no matter what, he thought. Izuku moved to the left until he reached his destination. It took him 30 seconds to reach the wooden square door that exited the cave and led to his destination. He thought, Opia, you're smarter than I expected, truly. The people around the area included guards and trained expert assassins. And, of course, Maki, who stood in front of her mother, her wrists shackled in irons like a prisoner. Izuku took a deep breath and burst through the door, rising upward. His determined shouting reached Maki. Maki! The look in Maki's eyes was one of bewilderment as her bruises on her face, arms, and neck were visible. Izuku shouted, Heruka! I am here. The people in the room were speechless as they all laid eyes on Izuku. The room's energy shifted, and the woman, whose hair was black and sleek, similar to Maki, finally spoke. Tell me, woman. Tell me about Maki's mother. Why is she hurt, beaten? The woman snickered at Izuku and swiped her fingers as two swords impaled Izuku in the thigh and shoulder. Izuku screamed in pain, and his body hurt as the blades stabbed through him. Don't fall, don't tell, don't deny her, Izuku thought, biting his bottom lip as he continued to glare at Maki's mother. The tears driven by rage fell down like a curtain. Release Maki. Release her now, Izuku demanded. Maki's facial expression dropped. Her eyes widened, looking perplexed as she watched Izuku shout at her mother. He was defending her, yet she didn't understand. I am going to protect Maki, Izuku continued. She's your daughter, not some doll you raise and dress up. She has her own feelings, thoughts, personality, smile, giggles. Her favorite food is Maki rolls, I bet. Let her go? The woman, Maki's mother, glared at Izuku with disgust in her eyes. Maki interrupted, shouting, You're speaking as if you're a hero. Izuku's legs wobbled, and his eyes and body felt tired. The intense pain was soon replaced with a sleepy feeling. He struggled to keep his body upright. Maki, I can't fail, Izuku thought. Opia, I won't let this end like this. As Maki drew closer, her footsteps were silent. Izuku couldn't hear her approach. His body trembled with fear, which ran through him as it always did. He felt fear. A quirkless person should fear when someone with a powerful quirk threatens you. But Izuku faced Maki as she swiftly closed the gap. Crash. Thump. Darling. Two pink-haired women crashed into the scene. Kid. Kid. Izuku's eyes widened as he recognized the voice shouting from behind. I didn't fail. Izuku held Maki, fluid trickling and spilling on the floor. Instead of screaming or running, he held Maki tightly, his arms wrapped around her back, his head resting above her shoulder. Maki, it isn't your fault, Izuku whispered, his vision becoming hazy. Don't blame yourself. You were right. I knew nothing. Maki remained silent. Sorry, Maki. She grabbed the knife still lodged in Izuku's gut, but her hand didn't move. What? Maki listened, her head tilting back as she heard Izuku's words. Hey, don't you, for once, want to save someone? Kid. Opia shouted, falling onto the ground with a thud. Her body was tired as she attempted to get up. Kid. What happened? The plan. This was your part. Maki's eyes went blank as she stared off, questioning everything up to this moment. Save. Help. What does it mean to save, and what does it mean to save someone, not to kill? Opia. This is my plan. Izuku's body fell onto the floor, but Maki still held her knife, her blank stare focused on him. He bled out on the floor. Opia pounded her fist onto the floor, yelling as two pink-haired girls walked forward, Sato and Yuno. Their minds spiraled out of control, with Sato swaying her body back and forth, looking frenzied. Sato grabbed one of the soldiers' necks and snapped it, killing the guard, while Yuno glared angrily at Maki, flipping out her flip phone. Yuno's flip phone, current time. My darling's vital fluid is dripping so lifelessly it's scaring me. He's dying, Maki thought. Yuno's flip phone, current time end. Sato walked toward Maki. A masked, blinding shadow crossed Sato's face as rage blinded her, and her focus was on Maki. Veins popped out of her hand and forehead until someone held her back. Sato. Izuku desperately tried to hold Sato, his eyes nearly dull and lifeless, his body feeling cold as his hand grabbed Sato's shirt from behind. It's not her fault, Izuku began to say, his eyes closing. Believe me. A nurse stood behind Sato. Mikan rushed toward Izuku as he lost his grip. Izuku. Lay down, you're dying. Oh, you're so cold, Mikan said, touching his wrist as Izuku continued to bleed. She ripped off a piece of her shirt and grabbed bandages. Izuku. Hi. Me, Mikan. It's me, Mikan. You're very hurt. What happened? Mikan was tearing up. Her knees and hands were covered in Izuku's warm, vital fluid. His wound had been wrapped with bandages and closed. Mikan chewed an energy bar as she began to heal Izuku. Mikan Sato, how did you all get here? Darling Sato muttered. Why am I not upset? You're hurt, bleeding, yet you lied to my face. You lied to me, and I brushed it off because I love you. But if I truly loved you, I would let these lies slip away. Izuku, don't raise your head, keep still. Please, Mikan quietly pleaded with Izuku, holding him down as she healed him with her quirk. She was sweating, taking energy bars and drinks periodically. It entered deep into your gut. Does it burn? Everything feels cold. Don't. Mikan's eyes watered. Keep your eyes open. Look at me. You can see me. Can you see Mikan? Mikan, with her other arm, cupped Izuku's cheek, feeling the cold, icy sensation on her fingers. Izuku managed to utter a yes as Mikan continued to heal him, seeing his wounds get slightly better. Stop, Mikan. I can't. Mikan shouted. I don't want Izuku to die. Maki clenched her fist, her dead, lifeless stare remaining. Let's go, I've made my point, Izuku muttered. I don't want any more destruction. I merely wanted to save Maki. I wanted to help. Sato bit her bottom lip, and Yuno looked at her. I can't, my darling wants to leave, Sato said with tears emerging. He wants me by his side. He wants us to get away and be alone. This world, I knew it. Yuno looked back at Izuku. Izuku. Yuno switched and coldly stared at Maki. I'll kill you later. Opie aside before shouting. Kid, is he going to make it? Mikan nodded. I need more time once I've healed Izuku. He'll need to rest for about 2 weeks. Mikan said, sweating intensely, her breathing tired, her hands beginning to tremble as she tried to keep them steady. Izuku's mind couldn't stay awake any longer, and he passed out, the last thing he saw being his enraged girlfriend. Izuku sat up in his bed. Sato and Yuno paced around his room, while Mikan watched him with a nervous expression in her eyes. My sweet sugar plum, you must confide in me. No more secrets, my love, Sato cooed, perched delicately on the edge of the bed. Honesty, my dear. Izuki, Yuno mutters. Is it? Oh, all right, I'll stay silent. Mikan stammers, her voice filled with shyness and uncertainty. Izuku found himself in a far more dire situation than ever before. He was now living amidst a family of assassins, and his thoughts raced with panic, beads of sweat forming on his brow. Both Sato and Yuno saw right through his facade. Is Opie okay? Maki Izuku's eyes darted with concern. Is Mom? He attempted to move, but Sato held him down gently, careful not to cause him harm due to his current injured state. Izuku, don't move too abruptly, Mikan stammered, beads of sweat forming on her forehead. Izuku Midoriya. Sato cupped his cheek, her attitude switching to a caring manner. Mother Inko, is okay. Really, that's great. Izuku sighed in relief. Sato noticed how relieved he was. Including Mikan, they were absolutely clueless on the intense journey Izuku went on. It's okay, Izuki. Nobody can hurt Inko if I am around. Yuno smiled sweetly, her head tilted, her sweet voice floated in the air. Yuno, Mikan, Sato. Izuku blushes as Sato leans close to his face. Her pink eyes stared deeply into Izuku's eyes. My darling, heed my words. You're concealing a secret, aren't you? You needn't hold back from me, Sato Matsuzaka whispered, her gaze piercing, her tone laced with an air of suspicion. Hide. No, Izuku was a terrible liar, and he knew it. Sato saw right through him, her eyes narrowing as a bitter, fierce expression overtook her face. Why do you train with All Might? The #1 hero. Yuno spoke out. Her eyes emitted a dark pink glow. My diary tells me. Everything about you tells me you train, so he can pass down his quirk. You work and train hard all throughout those harsh months, all while lying to our faces. Yuno's voice had a bitter, dark tone to it that made Izuku shiver, a reaction he'd never seen on Yuno before. How All Might wouldn't? How did you know? Izuku panicked. It's true, my love. All those days, those long months we spent apart, while you were training. Sato's gaze bore into Izuku's soul like a dagger. Every second you were beyond my reach. It felt like a knife through my heart. The fear of losing you, of not being there to protect you, it's a thought too terrifying to even imagine when we're apart. Then, Yuno's quirkless was a lie. Quirk, you have a quirk. Izuku muttered. I do? Yuno giggled softly, her voice carrying a hint of bewilderment. I am amazed, Izuku. How did you figure it out? She delicately concealed her smile behind her flip phone, her eyes forming affectionate heart shapes. How did you know? You're just so incredibly clever. Mikan remained silent, her attention dedicated to monitoring Izuku's health. She watched his reactions and movements closely, her eyes fixated on the subtle movements of his lips. Meanwhile, Yuno struggled to contain her excitement, recognizing Izuku's intelligence. She couldn't help but ponder the possibility of her monitoring his every move. So, you are aware of All Might and the reason for my absence, Izuku. Nervously stammered, beads of sweat forming on his forehead. Sato nods. We truly do. Your words, they affirm everything. You concealed truths from me as if I were a fool. No, I would never do that. Please, I am sorry truly. I got myself in another person's business and paid the price. He clenches his bed sheet. I don't regret one bit of it. Not at all. Sato shifts her tone in a caring and loving manner. Her hand touches Izuku's face. Her gaze makes Izuku lock eyes with her. Then, my dear, reveal every detail to me. Spare me nothing, for my affection for you is boundless. I adore you with a fervor beyond measure. Izuku in the end told Yuno, Mikan, and Sato about everything. My love, I wonder, why didn't you tell me the truth? Sato embraces Izuku, her voice filled with a mixture of emotions. But you know, there's a silver lining in all of this. It means we can make our dream come true. Yuno couldn't help but suppress a sly giggle as she observed Sato showering Izuku with affectionate hugs and kisses. A pang of jealousy coursed through her with each passing moment. Inwardly, she relished the situation, thinking to herself, how delightful it is, it's rather amusing. You see, Sato, I've already seen through your intentions. I'm one step ahead of you, and I'll be the one by Izuku's side. Mikan saw the look on Yuno's face. She quickly gazed away with fear and worries. Anyhow, Mikan's voice trembled, her words barely audible. Izuku, after you. P passed out. Yeah, I remember right. Izuku's gaze darted forward. What happened? Is Opia okay? Maki, are all of you okay? Panic and fear welled up within Izuku's words. Yes, I'm okay, but Mikan's words were abruptly cut off. Darling, naturally, I'm perfectly fine. I had to safeguard you, just as any devoted girlfriend, and perhaps future spouse, would. Sato beamed. Izuku, I've buried all those guards who dared to keep you away 6 feet under, just to ensure you're safe. Moi. So, Mikan whispered hesitantly. What happened was Maki, she had a fight with her mother. They had a big argument, and then they somehow came to an agreement. Maki's still considered part of the family, but Opia isn't anymore. And, well, the thing is, Maki was really grateful, even though she tried her best not to show it. But it was, pretty obvious. Mikan gasped softly, her eyes closed in embarrassment. Now, she has her own apartment near the city, and she's not allowed to live in the family mansion anymore. Mikan added the last thing, you were asleep. For 3 weeks. What? Wait, 3 weeks? Like 3? In 3. 3, All Might going to kill me. How did Mom not know? We met your mother, and she's such a lovely person, so incredibly kind. We managed to get into your apartment, and I tended to your wounds. They were, quite severe. Why your heart? It almost stopped working, Mikan stammered, her voice trembling with a mix of anxiety and concern. She started crying after she offered food. Yuno muttered. But she's so kind. Mikan's voice quivered as tears welled up in her eyes. I wish my mother could love me like Izuku's mother does. Izuki, we informed her that you were in the midst of a delicate phase, and she mustn't, under any circumstances, open that door. You what? That day sheer panic ran through. The next day, chop, Midoriya. 3 weeks without any action isn't great. Skinny Mite chimed as he trailed behind on his Segway. Leaning in closer, he whispered, Pust, young Midoriya, those young ladies. Izuku looks back, seeing Yuno, Mikan, and Sato jog behind him. He smiles and turns to face Skinny Mite. They continued to jog throughout the park. They scare me, Mimi. Mainly the pink-haired one, Skinny Mite exclaimed with a trembling voice. Yuno. Izuku huffed as he jogged while carrying heavy trash. No. The other one, All Might uttered, his voice noticeably weaker and less robust. Oh, Sato. She's my girlfriend. Skinny Mite nearly spat out in shock. Young Midoriya has a girlfriend? Well, I am actually glad you still decided to train me. All Might. Izuku smiled kindly. Well, I was indeed threatened by 2 teenage girls anyway. As long as they don't spill the beans about my quirk, everything should be just fine, Skinny Mite reassured Izuku, giving him a thumbs up. I have faith in you, young Midoriya, and those who are dear to you. I can see it in their eyes. They genuinely care about you. With a playful wink, Skinny Mite added, I had no idea you were such a ladies' man. I don't seem like that type, Precisely, young Midoriya. Izuku's soul flew out of his body. As the others surged ahead, Mikan lagged behind, her fragile form stumbling wearily. Her legs wobbled, and her breaths escaped in labored gasps. Please, wait for me. As training days melded into one another, Izuku's resolve only grew stronger. Unbeknownst to him, a watchful eye was cast upon his relentless efforts. The girls, hidden in the shadows, observed his unyielding dedication to mastering All Might's quirk. They watched in silence as he pushed himself harder each day, making up for the lost 3 weeks of training. His eagerness was palpable, and his determination to harness the power within him was unwavering. It was as if he could feel the weight of the legacy he carried, and he was determined to rise to the occasion. 3 months before the entrance exam, on the desolate rooftop, an eerie sense of foreboding hung in the air. Izuku and Maki, caught unaware, found themselves cornered by the sinister duo of Junko and her equally unsettling sister, Makuro. With a chilling gaze, Makuro observed the pair closely, her eyes as sharp as a hawk's, while Junko's grin widened, embodying the chaotic energy that surrounded them. Makuro's voice cut through the tense silence, her words filled with a cold, unforgiving seriousness. Don't even think about doing anything foolish. You won't like the consequences, she warned, her gaze unwavering, and her tone leaving no room for doubt. Junko? Makuro? Izuku's voice carried a note of confusion and concern. He couldn't grasp the intricacies of the situation, unsure of what Junko had in store for him. Maki, trembling with fear, sought refuge behind Izuku, her voice quivering as she whispered, "Teach their bad news, Izuku. Please, be careful. I'm pretty sure they're not." Izuku offered reassurance to Maki, his voice carrying a hint of optimism and a gentle, comforting tone. However, Junko's response was quite different. "Hell, like duh. Totally not a genius psycho over here," she exclaimed with a dramatic eye roll. Her sudden change in demeanor caught Izuku and Maki off guard. With her cleavage exposed, she leaned in closer to Izuku, her eyes locked onto his in an intense, almost hypnotic gaze. "You know, I was so surprised at how loyal you are," Junko sneered with a malevolent grin, her lips inching closer to Izuku's ear. Her voice held a chilling, sinister undertone. "You only dated her because she was the first girl to ask you out. It's just downright hysterical how desperate boys can be, but then again, I can't really blame them. Can I? The first day you reject me? That's a mistake, my dear, by boy logic, of course." Junko shifted her stance dramatically, her expression turning into an exaggerated pout as she pretended to be sad. She even added a quirky touch by placing a prop mushroom on her head, making her appear utterly comical. "But oh, poor, little ol' me," Junko sighed dramatically, looking more like a goofy comedian than a villain. "I'm just way too smart for my own good, you know? Genius problems, am I right? Where are you going with this?" Maki blurted out, her voice quivering with anxiety and confusion as uncertainty washed over her. Junko's hand swiped over her face, and in the blink of an eye, her demeanor shifted drastically. She abandoned her playful act for something more ruthless and unsettling. "Let me drop the act." Junko's voice dripped with a sinister intensity. "Sato Matsuzaka is a woman who knows how to have her own kind of fun. Remember what I told you, Izuku," she continued, her words taking on a sinister tone. "Boys, they date a girl if her panties are loose enough to slip through." The implication in her words hung heavily in the air, making her message all the more chilling. Just as Izuku was about to speak, Junko swiftly silenced him with a raised finger, a mischievous glint in her eyes. "Shush, darling. The genius is speaking," Junko declared, her tone suddenly playful as she transformed into a cute, cat-like expression. Her words, however, were far from innocent. "Your girlfriend is quite the adventurous one," Junko continued with a sly grin, her voice dancing with dark humor. "The number of PPS she had, well, let's just say it's more than when KFC first ran out of chicken." Her delivery blended intensity with a twisted sense of humor, leaving an unsettling but oddly comical vibe. "What?" Izuku was left utterly speechless for a moment. Then, his tone shifted from bewilderment to anger, his voice taking on a more serious and determined note. "What do you mean?" He demanded an explanation, his determination to understand the situation clear in his voice. Maki clenched his shoulders, hiding behind him. Is she talking about that?" "Oh," Junko chuckled wickedly. "Really, broccoli boy?" Her teasing tone was laced with dark amusement. She had deliberately provoked a reaction from Izuku, knowing that any caring boyfriend would be upset by the information she was sharing with him. Junko pulled out her overly pink and fancy phone, decided with a lot of stickers, and was extremely stylish. Izuku's reaction was one of sheer shock and disbelief. As photos of Sato began to surface, displaying her engaged in various close actions with other boys hugging, kissing, and acting in ways she had with Izuku, he couldn't help but feel a deep sense of betrayal and confusion. The evidence before his eyes left him in a state of emotional turmoil, struggling to process the revelations about his girlfriend's actions. 13 guys. Well, 13 is quite the number, Junko shrugged casually, her voice dripping with a twisted sense of amusement. But you could always be my first. Ditch that dirty woman, and come be with someone curvy, hot, and absolutely defined, she purred, her words taking on an appealing and hot tone. I promise, my genius will have you completely under its spell. When were these taken? Izuku questioned, his voice trembling with a mix of hurt and confusion as he turned to look at Junko for answers. What? Junko retorted with a disgusted expression, taking a step back from Izuku. Her voice grew sharper and more agitated. What? She yelled angrily, her frustration and anger boiling over as she processed the situation. Izuku's expression underwent a change as he observed Junko's reaction to his question. It was as though she hadn't anticipated his question, and her surprise left him with a sense of uncertainty, further deepening the mystery surrounding the situation. No. Junko's anger and frustration flared, and she grabbed the collar of Izuku's school uniform, her grip firm and unyielding. Her voice held a mixture of upset and an unsettling shift in her personality, echoing her sister's intensity. What do you mean? When were these taken? She seethed, her grip on him tightening. You should be seething with jealousy, but you didn't, did you? You asked me when these photos were taken. A disturbing smile began to creep across her face, indicating the emergence of her sister's personality within her own. Junko burst into a fit of hysterical laughter, her own actions and reactions taking her sister by surprise. She'd never seen Junko react this way before. The shock of encountering someone like Izuku, someone who didn't conform to her expectations, was clearly a new experience for her. Junko had never met a person like Izuku. He was different from anyone she had ever encountered. He wasn't like the others, blindly falling into her manipulative schemes. He rejected her advances, and he defied her attempts to predict his every move. In him, she had found an unexpected challenge that had disrupted her carefully crafted world. See, she's just been cheating on you, sweetie, Junko chimed in with a hint of sarcasm, her voice taking on a mocking tone as she added her signature humor. These photos, they're fairly recent, right? Just think about it. During all those months you've been away from your lovely girlfriend, what do you think she'd be up to during those lonely times without her precious boyfriend? Her words carried a dark playfulness that was as unsettling as it was taunting. Sorry, I've been reading too many NTRs, Junko mocked, her tone dripping with dark humor. Her eyes locked onto Izuku with a ruthless stare, reveling in the discomfort her words might cause. Izuku found himself deep in thought, pondering the words that had come from Junko's mouth. I don't know if I can trust Junko, he mused silently, an internal conflict raging within him. Can I trust her? The uncertainty of the situation left him wrestling with his own doubts and fears. Junko was abruptly cut off by Izuku, his determination clear in his voice. You can trust. I can't jump to conclusions without a proper answer, Izuku interjected, his glare fixed on Junko. I won't act blindly. I appreciate you telling me this, but I wish Sato had told me herself rather than you. His words held a hint of frustration and disappointment, reflecting his desire for honesty and direct communication from his girlfriend. He did it again, Junko muttered, biting her bottom lip as if trying to contain her laughter. Her expression took on a manic quality. He keeps doing it again and again. I just can't seem to get through his thick skull. She chuckled, the madness in her voice growing more evident. He acts the complete opposite of my predictions. Maybe, just maybe, he'll make this story interesting. Her excitement at the unexpected turn of events bordered on madness. Izuku, Mikan tugged at his shirt nervously, seeking his attention. Izuku chuckled softly, his voice carrying a touch of self-awareness. And here I thought I had a habit of mumbling way too fast. His response was lighthearted and filled with gentle humor. About Sato, Mikan whispered, I don't trust Junko. I'll do this on my own. She is my girlfriend, so I really want to know. I never had a girlfriend before, so this situation feels new. As long as I have my head cool, I'll be fine. Mikan nodded in agreement, her voice trembling with sincerity. If anything happens, I'll be there as fast as I can. You've done so much for me and treated me kindly, so you have my support, Izuku. Her face turned a shade of red as she expressed her gratitude and offered her unwavering support. Junko stared at the two. Oh, a girls' group. Junko instantly concluded, a sly grin tugging at the corners of her lips. Her assessment was swift, especially after spotting 3 girls around him, one of them being his girlfriend. In Junko's eyes, the situation had all the hallmarks of a classic one, and she couldn't help but find it amusing. It was even more entertaining for Junko since Izuku seemed completely clueless about Yuno's feelings towards him. Junko was eager to see how things would play out, her anticipation growing as she watched the unfolding drama. So, this was the end of part 2 of this series. Stay tuned for next part of this series, and if you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Until next time.